G'day everyone, Duckville here. We're going to bring you something a little bit different today. We're going to go off the beaten track and go somewhere different for a replay. This time, venturing all the way over the sea, over the lands to the crazy fantasy lands known as the EU server. We're going to have a match from a couple of very decent EU players, if I do say so myself. Our Protoss, who is going to be pretty much the feature player here, I suppose you could say. It has come from a replay pack that he's just put up on Team Liquid. It was sort of a little bit recently, but this is none other than Babyk, or Baby Knight. You may know him as. He's of course featuring here with the name Na'Vi Babyk, previously in the Na'Vi team, which has unfortunately disbanded their StarCraft 2 team just recently. And they have no more StarCraft 2 ambitions as far as I understand. Babyk himself being a former Dota pro over in the EU scene, doing really nicely with that, and then switching over to StarCraft 2 instead of Dota 2, which is of course possibly a good thing, but I don't know. We'll have a look and see how he goes. We'll see if he's got the chops for this. His opponent just up here, the Blue Zerg, is known as roxkisSlivko. Slivko, of course, not too much info actually. It actually took me quite a while to actually find some info about Slivko. He is a Russian Zerg player from over in the Roxkis clan. I believe that stands for Radical Online Extremists or something like that. Pretty crazy name, but of course both of these players doing really well over in EU, grabbing some of those daily and weekly tournaments. I believe Slivko actually grabbed a tournament against Snoot just recently. Snoot is going to be a little bit of another feature player we're going to catch some of very soon on this channel. Make sure, speaking of sort of unknown players, I'm going to be looking to grab some more replays of players who are like really high quality like these guys, both GM quality players, and we're going to try and get some more replays of these kinds of players who are a little bit unknown and possibly should be a little bit more known than they are, so that they can get some love as well. So if you want to know more about that particular little project, jump onto duckvillelol.com and have a look at the recent blog post that I put up regarding that. But as we can see here, we've got the Nexus starting out first here for Babyk, knowing that there was the hatch starting out pretty quickly there for Slivko. I believe that actually, when was the hatch started? I'm not exactly sure. I was too busy ranting. But getting the Nexus up, pretty safe here. Of course, you can put you can get the forge down straight up. Got to put down a cannon as well. In fact, Babyk is going to grab the gateway straight after that. Good timing on that. You always want to try and get your gateway up as quickly as possible. That means you can grab your assimilator, possibly the second one as well, which it looks like he is going to get, and then obviously leading into the next portion of the PvZ matchup. And then he's going to try and keep this probe alive. If he can keep the scouting probe alive for a little bit longer than normal, it is really good. You can head in here. You can of course catch when the third goes up. You got to be careful. Sometimes players like to actually grab this base as a third. As of late, it's been a little bit of a trend I've noticed, but I don't know. It looks as if Slivko is going to stick with the standard sort of play. Hatchery spotted, and now the probe can probably just head out of danger for the time being. The Ling's still running around trying to find out if there has been a proxy pylon placed anyway, just in case there is some sort of weird sort of play going on here from Babyk. But nothing too fancy coming out, and that means that Slivko can drone up and get some economy floating quite nicely here. Going for a no gas style here, getting that third up very quickly so he can get the economy pumping. And he's looks as if Babyk is going to do the same sort of thing himself, just blocking out that doorway there with the cybernetic score a little bit later than perhaps you would normally see. But either way, he's got a lot of probes coming along here, using a bit of that chrono boost on the probes to get them pumping out. As we can see, he's actually ahead of Slivko for the moment, up at 33 probes to the 28 of Slivko, so that's actually quite decent there for our Protoss protege here. He's going to look to just really try and boost up that economy and try and get a nice amount of probes before he starts up any sort of tech or attack. As we can see, the cybernetic score just finishing up here. We'll probably see the spinning straight away with the warp gate tech in just a second, otherwise he's going to make me look stupid. stupid by not getting it at all. There you go. Alright, spinning up, Forge spinning up as well to get that +1 to weapons. Always a good thing to grab that. It means you can get some initial units that will do quite a lot of damage. Of course, it means that the Zealots will tear apart those Lings if they do encounter them on the battlefield. And speaking of which, beautiful rally pointing from the Lings here for Slivko, just making sure that the bases are cleared out. A little bit worried about this side over here, but I think he already checked it out before with an Overlord. And speaking of Overlords, this one from Slivko just heading across the top, trying to find out what if there is any tech available here. A little bit weird with this path. I think he's just trying to check, because sometimes a lot of players like to put their tech building up the back, and as we can see, Babyk has actually put his Twilight Council up the back here. Now this could signal the particular play that Babyk is going to go for, and the Overlord is going to try and get another run through the middle portion of the base here. It will depend on how far he gets. There is a Dark Shrine being built by Babyk, so he's going to grab a very early DT opening here. Looks as if the Overlord will go down. It did not spot that the Dark Shrine there at all. Did not see the extra couple of gates going down as well. So things looking quite standard for the moment here. One Overlord also trying to get inside the base and get some information there. Babyk well aware of that. Puts down 2 sentries to try and take care of that, and it looks as if they will kill it off just before it gets out of range. Overlord going down. Slivko is not troubled too much by that though. He's still over his supply, so that's actually quite nice for him. Now getting up the Vespene gas, so he's going to be starting to pick that up quite nicely here. We can see that he's switching into the lair tech that's in fact just about to complete here, and he's going to have some Spore Crawlers ready to defend against possible DT harassment, which is no doubt going to come very, very soon. So we'll find out exactly how Babyk is going to play this. We'll find out what tech and defensive capability Slivko has. Interesting to see. This is a little bit of a weird sort of wall off. I've never really seen anyone do it this way, but he's got these 2 Evo chambers here at the front, and then the Roach Warren here as well. No Spine Crawlers, interestingly, but of course when you're sitting at the front of your base with some very nice creep spread, you don't have to worry too much about that. But as you can see, here come the DTs. They're going to put a little bit of pressure on if they can get inside. Probably one of these DTs is just going to sneak past and get inside the main if he can. Inside the main, I don't think there's too much. No, there isn't anything in there, but the DT does not get anything done. Now running out of range, in fact getting away from the Lings before they can kill it, and a DT at the third meanwhile is taking care of the Queen, takes care of a drone, 2, 3, takes care, almost gets a Ling, not really sure what happened there, but this DT is not long for this world, sitting on 4 HP, Overseer coming across, and down he goes. So that's the end of that little bit of harassment there from Babyk. He's not really gotten too much done, got a couple of drone kills, a Queen, and that's realistically, that's about it. Nothing else was done after that, but what this has done, given him a little bit of pressure there to put, sort of put on Slivko, and it's allowed him to get his economy up. Look at that, the pro saturation, very nice here, continuing that pro production, currently sitting at 65 on 2 base, very, very nice there for Babyk. He's got Blink on the way as well, and a lot of Blink Stalkers are going to be out and prepared for any possible counter attacks with Roaches, if that is the order of the day. But it looks as if Slivko is just sticking with this generally sort of heavy Ling mixture here at the moment, with just a few Roaches in there as well, with Roach speed done, and an Infestation Pit now already finishing up on Pathogen Glands as well. Things are going to get a little bit interesting for Babyk depending on how he proceeds here. He's going to start getting a couple of Archons to make sure that those Links can be torn apart by the splash damage and that massive damage against Bio that the Archons do. And now with some Infestors out, things are going to get very interesting. So we'll find out how these guys are going to go about this. We'll probably wait and see if Slivko is just going to beef up that army a bit. Probably needs a few more Roaches if he wants to get a lot of damage done. Perhaps he may fill that out in just a little bit here. He's got 4 Roaches on the way. He's just getting close to supply block there, so that's why we're waiting on a little bit more. But one random Zealot is just out on the battlefield and was taken out, so he's not having a good day at all, trying to hold the Watchtower, and then gets just absolutely pumped down by the Lynx and the Roaches here. Beautiful force fields there, cutting off some of the army. We'll see how Slivko decides to push through here. He may try and get around the side, but no, he's not going to. We've got a couple of cannons now up here for Babyk, so this base is going to get up quite nicely here. Interesting to see that he's left this section here quite devoid of anything. From time to time, you see players put down a couple of pylons here so they will know if there is any sort of attack coming through, and you can warp in and try and stop the attack if possible. But he hasn't done anything like that at the moment here. I think he's just really focusing on making sure this third gets up and is very secure. In fact, putting down a gateway wall so that those cannons are a little bit further protected against those lings if they get into range. And then, of course, getting the economy going is still pumping away at those probes. Look at that. We're currently sitting on 69 probes against the 80 drones of Slivko. So both these guys doing quite a nice job with their workers here. And interesting to see this. His DT of Babyk did stay alive here, as just got a bit of vision here, can possibly put down some harassment if there is another attack going on at another position on the map. That's probably going to be the plan there from Babyk, but meanwhile Slivko just doing really nicely with his mining. He's got this fourth base up here. That's going to get a baneling nest as well. Not interested, sort of not surprised to see that, especially against a lot of stalkers. We may see a little bit of a jump into some Overlord drops with banelings, but looks as if for the moment he's actually just going to get a really big spine crawler wall set up here. There is a huge total of spine crawlers going up here in the middle. We've got a total of 11 spine crawlers going up through the middle. This will be very nice for him defensively. Of course, that can help out later on with when Broodlords come into the mix as well. But it looks as if Babyk is not going to allow any bases to get up here. In fact, he may be looking to push into the main as well. He can get in and snipe down some of these buildings here. In fact, he targets down the Greater Spire, which is trying to morph in here. The Stalkers now getting in. Fungal going off on top of the Stalkers, and the Greater Spire goes down, or if you want to call it the Spire, I don't know. But now trying to blink away with those Stalkers. They are slowly getting away here, taking some shots at the Lings and the Roaches up on the high ground, getting a decent amount of damage done. Huge snipe there by Babyk, getting that Spire before it was able to switch into the Greater Spire, and of course delaying the Broodlord tech. This allows Baby to possibly get another base up. We may see him just move up here and get this base over here. It's quite common to see Protoss players take this, because what you can do is you can segment off the base here, put down a few cannons and put down a few more over here, and that's generally well protected, because you can hang out in this sort of section here and cover both the main and that fourth base up the top here. And I'm pretty sure that's what Babyk is going to do, but he does have to contend with quite a lot of Lings and Roaches in the middle of the map here, catching out a couple of them before they can get away. The Roaches on 1-1 upgrades at the moment here, the Lings on 1-2, so they are doing a little bit more damage with their melee attacks here, and just trying to poke around here, seeing if he can find a hole in the defenses of Babyk. But there are so many Stalkers out here and a lot of energy stored up on these sentries as well, which will allow him to get a really nice wall off here. But Babyk not prepared at the front here of his natural, but he does have a Zealot blocking off. Infestors now moving in. They've got a lot of energy prepared on them. Not really sure why they're heading back, but it looks as if Babyk is well prepared for this. He's going to use perhaps some Blink Micro here to get these Stalkers out of damage, but no, he's not. And not really sure what happened with that battle there. We could have seen things get a little bit dicey for Babyk, but of course with so many Stalkers and that Colossus at the back, the Lings were just shredded there, and then we just saw that the rest of the forces were absolutely annihilated. So I think it may have just been a plan there from Slivko just to sacrifice some of those units, but now he's getting out quite a lot of Corruptors. We've got 6 here, and now we've got another 8 possibly coming through as well, so he's going to use those to take care of the Colossus. Very interesting to see that he's grabbing 8 of those, given that he only saw 1 Colossus, but with more coming through here from Babyk, he's got an extra third one coming through from that robotics facility. Once that is done, things are going to get very ugly for Slivko, but now pushing through the middle of the map, some Overlords caught out of position here. Losing them is a little bit dangerous for Slivko. Not actually putting a dent in that 200 max supply of his. There must be a whole flotilla of Overlords just hanging around somewhere on the map, but the Spine Crawlers have now been cleaned out. The defensive position of Slivko has now been forced back a little bit, but he does have a lot of Broodlords and some Corruptors along with those Infestors, so things will start to possibly push back the other way depending on how Babyk handles this engagement. There we go. Huge fungal growth there on top of all of those Stalkers here. So many Broodlords in the sky. I'm not really sure how this is going to go, but with some decent fungals, Slivko should be able to handle this, I think. But losing so many Broodlords, these Stalkers with their +3 to weapons are just absolutely smashing apart these Broodlords. And now the Colossi slowly starting to be depleted there as well. There's only one left, and just as we can see, Stalker's slowly falling apart there. There's only a few more left. They are going to blink to try and get out of there. Broodling's chasing after, but that is not going to be a fun chase at all. Those guys just explode, and there you go. So interesting engagement there. Looks as if Slivko kept a few of his Broodlords along with all those Infestors as well, and they've still got a decent... There's a little bit of energy left on a couple of these, so if a counter-attack comes straight away, Babyk will still have to deal with a couple more fungal growths, but he's not actually worried about that at the moment. What this has done is it's given him a bit of time to make sure that this fourth base is mining quite nicely, and it is indeed. We've got him on 78 probes at the moment, 69 drones for Slivko. A little bit interesting to see him quite a lot lower on that, but he's still sitting on a very decent army count at the moment. He's got, how many Broodlords has he got? He's got 6 Broodlords in the mix here. We've got a total of 77 lings on the ground, along with these Infestors as well. So he has to be really careful, but just a little bit worried about his economy. The natural is just about mined out. The third base, of course, is just over here, and it's looking kind of low. It's sort of at the midway. The fourth, of course, is still sitting quite nicely, and this fifth is going to be a big thing, because if this goes down again, we can see that Slivko is going to be in a little bit of trouble, because he's not going to have as much gas as he would like, along with the minerals as well, to build those very expensive Broodlords. But now we can see some DTs, in fact, getting inside the natural of Slivko. They're going to try and take out this hatchery here if they can. Broodlords, I should say, morphing inside the main base here. That the fungal growth catching out those DTs before they can get too much damage done. And down he goes. Not really getting anything done here. This hatchery brought down to just over half health there. But this is all, again, just providing Babyk with a little bit of time to get this fifth base up and running, and once that's up, he'll be in a really nice position. So we'll see how he's going here. He's got the double robo facility cranking out those Colossi 2 at a time. He's going to have quite a lot. I do like how he's keeping these hidden for the moment, just sticking with this big stalker ball in the middle of the map, and perhaps he's going to reveal those Colossi a little bit later when he actually engages, meaning that Slivko will not have as many corruptors as he'll need. Of course, the Colossi will just waste away all of these links here, along with those Infestors on the ground as well, and of course the Broodlords will be able to deal with the Colossi in time, but if there is nothing on the ground to deal with these Stalkers, then the Broodlords would just be absolutely mincemeat for the for those Stalkers. Now, just having a look at, again, the economy of these guys. We've got Babyk just mining out the natural here. The main is, of course, already done. Fleet Beacon just completing now, so he's probably going to pick up a mothership once he's got a little bit of supply available to him. But the third base still mining quite nicely here. Decent saturation on both the third and the fourth over here as well. And that fifth is now getting up and running as well. So he's really doing nicely with his macro at the moment, now trying to push in to deny this fifth base of Slivko. Slivko looks like he's not moving in at all. There is one random Void Ray that is just pushing across the map. That is actually in a really good position now to take care of some of the Broodlords, but there are so many Infestors around. I'm a little bit surprised there isn't more fungal growth going down. There is not too much energy available for Slivko. That is the problem. Colossi now dealing with all of those lings. As we said, the Stalker's now free to deal with the Broodlords up in the air. They have taken out a lot of them. It looks as if this is going to be another generally even sort of trade between these guys, just because the Broodlords are still so powerful despite having no upgrades at all. He's just actually taking care of all of those Stalkers with the fungal growth and the Broodlords. So that's an interesting little battle there, but the 5 Colossi are still alive here for Babyk. He's got another 2 coming through. We're going to bring in 7 Colossi, which is really going to beef up that army against anything on the ground, of course. Mothership now coming through as well. We'll see if that has any effect on the battle. Probably one of the biggest factors of PvZ is once that Mothership comes into play, if you can put down a vortex and just sort of segment the units. Of course, if you can pull the Infestors out of the battle, that means no fungals to take care of Stalkers. If you can pull the Broodlords out, that means that there's nothing in the sky doing that big damage that they do. So we'll see if Babyk is going to be able to put down some good fungals, some good vortex play or not. Meanwhile, the natural of Slivko is all done. We've got more Broodlords on the way. We're going to have a total, we're going to have a total of around about, that's about 13 or 14 Broodlords here on the map. We're going to have those 7 Colossi as well. Really want to see something else come out here from Babyk. Not really sure if just mass Colossi is going to work too well against a lot of Broodlords. As we can see, +3 to armor is now just about going through here for Babyk. He's around about a third done at the moment. Once that's up, he'll be in a good position with those Colossi. And now a mothership is out. Here it comes. She's going to provide that very useful, as we said, vortex, which will help out with dealing with the Broodlord Infestor army, which is just incredibly tough to deal with if you don't have the mothership available to put down the vortex. Now, just looking at the Broodlord count, holy moly, we have got 17 Broodlords just about to come into the battle here. We've got this 6 base getting up. If this can get up, this will be really good for Slivko. And then he still doesn't have that 5th. It's a little bit surprising that he hasn't been able to get that up properly. He's had to lose it a couple of times to Stalkers, and I believe there was a DT attack in there as well. But now Babyk really macroing up, getting some more gates up. He's currently sitting on a really big bank of almost 2.5k minerals and gas. But now, as we can see, he's really starting to get that macro going. But now it looks as if we may have a battle in the middle. Fungal growth giving vision to Slivko of all of those units, despite the mothership. Vortex going down and every single unit jumping inside. The one problem for Babyk is that I think there is only like one Archon available to jump in there and try and toilet, but it's just not going to work. And wow, really nice from Slivko actually pushing the Archon out of the battle there. But the Infestors will go down. That is quite a lot of gas down the drain there for Slivko. He's going to have to utilize these Broodlords and try and kill off as many of the Colossi as possible. He actually, does he have vision? Yeah, he does have vision, because there is an Overseer somewhere. I'm not, oh, it's up here. He's got 4 Overseers. That's all cool. He's got that covered nicely. The Colossi starting to get absolutely annihilated as well. We're down to 2 Colossi. As we can see, the Broodling's doing a huge amount of damage there. The mothership does go down. Babyk is going to have to rebuild that if he wants to stay in this game, because we're at that point where Slivko has just got this massive group of Broodlords, and that's going to allow him to push through the map very easily despite high numbers of Stalkers, as long as he has a few Fungals as well. Now, as you can see, we've got 1 Infestor out at the, or 4 Infestors out at the moment, a couple more on the way, along with even more Broodlords. We got another one just morphing in now as well. And as we can see, it looks as if Babyk is going to switch over to the Templar. Not actually sure if this is going to be for just a whole bunch of Archons, or if he's going to try and toilet again properly, or if he's going to use some Storm. That would be a really nice way to deal with all of these Broodlords, of course. If you can put down some Storms on top of the units once they pop out of the Vortex, that's another way to deal with a very heavy Zerg presence in the air. And we'll see if that's the plan here. But now with a lot of Colossi, we've got 4 Colossi out. We've got a great deal of those Stalkers on the ground and those Templar. We'll see how this works here for Babyk. I think he's just going to try and buy time until this mothership can get up and running. We've got +2 to shields. I believe that's +2. Yes, it is. +2 to shields is on the way for Babyk as well. Not often you get that far in a PvZ, but we are going to get to the distance here. And those Broodlords now just flying around like a giant. A bunch of siege tanks in the air. In the air, there we go. If anything gets in range, they're going to absolutely annihilate it. And what they're going to try and do is try and keep this base up and running. If they can keep that and cover that really nicely, that'd be really good for Slivko, of course. As we mentioned, his economy is a little bit ugly at the moment. He's got 56 drones, only 56, sitting on this very low count at the moment. We've got a whole bunch of drones sitting out here at the 3rd base as well, which aren't actually doing too much. We've got a couple that aren't mining gas either. And it's just looking like, I feel as if Babyk can just sweep through these units pretty quickly here, even half of these units, if he were to take out half of these, he would be in a fantastic position, considering he's now taking his own, that's the 7th base here for Babyk, so he's going to be in a really nice position. Looks as if Babyk is going to try and take care of this base up the top here for Slivko. He is going to be able to snipe down that hatchery. Beautiful work there, slowing down the economy here, and now some storms going down. Things are going to start to get interesting right about now. Overseers and Corruptors coming in to try and take care of the mothership, actually burning up the Overseers with the feedbacks. Beautiful work there, and now there is no detection for Slivko. He's just going to lose everything that moves in range of these big stalker, this big mass of stalkers that's on the ground here. The Templar are trying to run away so that they do not get assassinated while they're on the ground. And now Babyk has decided it's time to get a little bit hero style, drop inside the main with some zealots. Going to take care of this hive, and then no doubt the Greater Spire will be next on the menu. So things looking a little bit deadly here for Slivko. He's sitting on very little mineral income here. As we can see, this base is the only one realistically doing some good mining. Of course, we do have this one down the southern side. All these drones here, long distance mining, and it looks as if we may have a big battle in the middle here. We've got another four overseers here, along with some queens in the battle, going to help try and transfuse some of the units if they can. It looks as if the vortex has gone down again. And now we'll see how Babyk deals with this, taking out the queens at the back. There are a few broodlords up the back as well. And now we're going to have a big toilet moment right here. And there it is. Storms going down all over the place there. As we can see, broodlords going down. The infestors have been absolutely annihilated by the colossi. And it looks as if Babyk is probably going to come out the victor here. Although a lot of his units have been quite low on health. And that is it. We have seen a very cool game here between these two high-level EU players. Babyk doing a fantastic job with his macro. Just loved how well he has saturated all of his bases despite having to deal with that Zerg threat in the middle there. But I think Slivko is just a little bit laid back at some points of the game with just sort of sitting back and trying to macro up as best as possible, trying to get this fourth base up and running along with that third with almost no harassment going through. He made one attempt to try and pass through this section of Babyk's base, but was deflected, and that, I suppose, summed up the rest of the game here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We'll catch some more from Babyk very soon. As mentioned, there is a replay pack from Babyk on the Team Liquid forums. I've dropped that in the description there. You can jump in there, have a look at his PvP in particular, how he opens up in PvP, sorry. It is actually quite cool, so we may have a look at some PvP games very soon. Cheers.